Okay, the lighting's kind of bad, but I don't really want to turn my light on and my phone's on charge, so excuse the bad lighting. I'm sorry if you hear any background noise like this. It's literally the bed, it's an air bed. Hi guys, it's Maddie. My camera battery's flashing at me now. Great! Do you know what? I was actually telling myself that, like, you had the therapy appointment, like, a day ago. You should have probably filmed, like, straight after so your memory was more, like, fresh. But no, I was like, yo, I'll film it later, and then I could film it now, and the camera battery's just like, you thought, one sec. Okay, you guys are on charge now, so that's good. And I got that messed up a second ago. I said like a day ago. It was actually 2 days ago. You can see I'm not very good at times and dates. This lighting is actually making me kind of sad. The charger as well is not letting me really position my camera very well, or it just goes sliding off my laptop. So we're gonna have to make do. I apologise for the bad lighting. I feel bad about the lighting. Now it's not even focusing. This is going great. Hold on. Right. Hello guys, it's Maddie. So 2 days ago, on the 11th of March 2024, I had my first therapy assessment phone call thingy. I'm not going to go into like every single detail of it because, you know, that's private and confidential and my business, but I did just want to talk about like the general experience and how I found it, especially because I am someone that has said before, I don't need therapy. I talk about stuff in my brain all the time, like I figure things out for myself and I research myself. I don't need therapy. I talk about how I feel about this stuff a lot. Therapy sucks. Nah, I didn't say therapy sucks. I said therapy probably won't work for me, but you know what I'm saying. So coming from someone that literally said before, over and over again, therapy wouldn't help me, therapy wouldn't help me. I even said to my, like, when my physiotherapist recommended it to me and said, maybe try talk therapy. I literally went away from that appointment afterwards and told a bunch of people, like my friends, like, what am I going to do? Talk about my shoulder pain? No thanks, you know, like I dismissed it completely. So going from complete dismissal of the idea, completely like, nah, get that idea away from me, to actually having the phone call 2 days ago, that was quite a big leap from, you know, absolutely not to we're doing this. And I kind of want to talk about it a little bit because I feel like there will be people with a similar opinion to mine, if you feel how I do, or how I did, how I kind of don't. You'll see what I mean, but it might be helpful to some people who think therapy isn't for them, and some people, you need different types of therapy. There are so many different types of therapy out there. It's always good to talk about your emotions and your feelings, whether that's just with friends, family, or a professional. It's good to talk about how you feel, not bottle things up inside, but sometimes with professional help can be really helpful, especially with like mental health and stuff. And yeah, talking to your friends is lovely, talking to your friends is great, talking to your family is nice, but it's not the same as talking to a professional. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit because, like I said, I was a completely different opinion not even that long ago, and I want to talk about it. So, without going into all of my personal details, because I don't want to, when what did she call herself? She called herself a, was it welfare psychologist? Well-being psychologist? Something psychologist. No. I think it was a psychology practitioner, something like that. It was something along those lines. I can't remember what exactly she was on the phone. But when she rung up, she was really lovely, really nice, really understanding, took some personal details, checked it was me, which, you know, should check who you're talking to before you start being like, so therapy for this, blah, 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 you know. So that was good. And, like, had an introduction, explained how it was going to work, and it was sort of like an introduction. Then she asked me for like a basic overview, like bullet point of what like I'm ringing up about. Even though she had notes, she wanted to hear like me talk about it. And then we went into more like background, asked me questions, asked me to expand on what I meant by that sometimes, like, you know, just was really thorough in getting like everything, a clear picture of everything that I was phoning up about in regards to my mental health. And she was really, really lovely, really patient, because I actually interrupted her quite a few times and I felt really bad about that, and she was always like, no, it's fine, like completely fine, like I understand when you're trying to talk about stuff and you think of another thing and then you like, you know, like she was really understanding. And it wasn't an actual like therapy appointment, it wasn't like an actual appointment, it was an assessment to see if I would benefit from their service. So and also gathering information and stuff, and said like who she'd share it with, and right at the beginning went through confidential, like the confidential reasons. Everyone knows the confidential reasons that they have to break, but in case you don't, the reasons they would break your confidentiality with medical professionals, sorry my back's hurting, would be if you were a risk to yourself, a risk to others, or you were breaking the law. That's the three that they would breach confidentiality for. But it wouldn't just be like, you know what I mean, they'd follow a professional like procedure. They wouldn't just be like, oh, we're gonna go tell everyone that blah blah blah, obviously. But yeah, they went through all of that, really professional, really kind, really nice, and then talked about everything. So bullet point overview, like the basics, then more in depth, then questions, and then double checked at the end, did I understand everything and was there anything else I wanted to say. And then another really, really helpful thing is she reassured me that, okay, I'm going to go away and talk about this with my supervisor, but I'll ring you back in about 2 weeks. The only reason we don't give like a set date of this is when I'll ring you is in case we get a cancellation or like anything like that. And then you're not just waiting for that specific date, and then they can just ring you in the bracket of 2 weeks. They don't leave you hanging. They don't just say, oh, okay, well, we'll call you back whenever. They say 2 weeks, and that gives them time to really think over the information and what to do next, because either I would end up on their service, or I would get referred to somebody else, or they would give me information to then make an educated decision on where I want to go next for my mental health, which I think is really good, having options. So instead of just being like, okay, well, you're not on our service, bye, they give you options, so you're not just back to square one. And it can be quite daunting knowing who to go to, what's a good service, like what you need, and you don't want to get stuck at dead ends of people going, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks, you know, like, they wouldn't say no thanks, that's really unprofessional, but you get what I'm saying. If I wasn't, like, if I didn't qualify for their specific therapy service, then they would either give me the information to go on to a more appropriate service, or they would refer me / put in a recommendation with a service about me, which I thought was really, really good of them. Okay, so the actual phone call was about 1 hour and 6 minutes. So oh my back. The assessment, my assessment, everyone's different, but mine, she said, would take between 45 minutes and 1 hour. I was slightly over by 6 minutes, but you know, basically 1 hour. And that was probably because I was just double checking everything, but she was really nice about it. It's not like they say, oh, 45 minutes to 1 hour, and then they just hang up the phone at that exact time mark, because that would be really bad. Could you imagine? Yeah, so I don't quite oh, never mind. You know? They don't do that, but they give you that time bracket just so you know, like, are you, oh, and that's another thing, she asked me, like, are you free to talk, is this a good time for you, even though it's the appointment space, you know, like, you'd assume I'd be ready to talk. She still double checked, and like I said, yeah, just let me go somewhere a bit quieter, and I did that, and it was great. Yeah, honestly, I had a really good experience, and this is coming from someone who really didn't want to try it, who really thought it would be a waste of time, because I'm quite self-aware and I research a lot, and I was kind of like, well, I can talk with myself about how I feel, so why do I need a therapist? But it was actually really nice. Sorry, my back's like killing me, 1 sec. My brother came in, so I'm gonna have to end the video in a minute anyways, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's been about 2 days. If you hear the background music, it's my brother's Switch, but it's been about 2 days. It's now the 13th of March 2024, and I had a really good experience, and I will give you guys an update in 2 weeks. Obviously I didn't go into detail about like everything I talked about because that's my personal business, but the actual experience of using the therapy service was really good. So honestly, if you're like me and you're a bit like, I'm on the fence about therapy, give it a go. Give the initial assessment a go. If it's not for you, or the service that you're applying for, this music's really annoying, the service you're applying for is not for you, then you can then get recommendations on where to go from there with your mental health. Anyways, I'm going to go. Sorry for the terrible lighting. Please follow at Madeleine Munden -2 on Instagram. And until next time, please subscribe, like, comment. Hope you found this video helpful. And until next time, goodbye guys. I'm sorry about the ending and the lighting, but hopefully this helps someone who was in a similar mindset to me. Just give it a go, and what's the worst that can happen? It's not for you, it's not for you, you know? Bye guys.